Hey team, Ollie Duffy-Lee here, creator of the Infinity Model. In this video, we're talking about value propositions. What are they and why do you need one? Stay tuned. Hey team, how you doing? Ollie Duffy-Lee here. Thank you so much for tuning in. In this video, we're talking about value propositions, and actually, I find it quite funny that I'm doing a video to you right now about value propositions because until about 2 years ago, I kind of thought that value propositions were a complete waste of time. My view was that surely everyone knows the sort of person they can sell to, what services they can do, and it doesn't need to be defined exactly, it can just be known. But actually, my mind has been completely changed, and it started to be changed by a coach. And I was in a coaching session, and what he said to me is, he said, Ollie, you need to look at it like this. And he said, either you're something to someone, or you're nothing to everyone. Either you're something to someone or you're nothing to everyone. And when he put it like that, I kind of got it. It kind of just, the penny dropped for me. And the reason why it dropped is because if you think about the agency landscape, the agency marketplace, there's no shortage of clients, but it's definitely an oversaturated market and very competitive market. If it's not saturated, it's very competitive. And for that reason, you need to be able to draw your line in the sand and say, this is who I am, this is who I serve, and this is the problem I solve. Because if you don't, you run the risk of just being overlooked or commoditized. So what actually is a value proposition and how do you go about doing it? Well, first thing to say is I'm going to give you, in the next video and later this week, I'm going to give you 4 bespoke templates that you can just draw and create your own value proposition just like that. But for this one, I just want to talk about very broadly what is one. What is a value proposition? And for me, I break it into 2 circles. I try and keep it as simple as possible. I break it into 2 circles. On this circle over here, you've got the who. This is who you serve. And on this circle over here, you've got the what you do. So if on the circle on the left, who, that could be the company, the type of company you serve. Could be the industry or sector, or could be the people you serve as well. For example, if you serve entrepreneurs, that's who you serve over there. On the right hand side, this is basically your service or your offer, or could be the problem you solve as well. Problem. And it's the sector in the middle here, the meeting point here, which is what forms your value proposition. That is literally what it is. And like I said, there's lots of different ways you can word it. Some companies came up with these really fancy ways to do it. Some companies come up with a sentence which actually sounds more like a tagline. For me, a value proposition, a proper value proposition, you need to include a problem. You need to include the problem you're solving for this group of people. And by the way, small tip here, of these 2 things, if you want to be super niche and you want to be very specific, of these 2 things, one of them needs to be very specific. For example, if your who is business owners, that's quite broad. It means your what needs to be seriously specific. So if it was business owners, for example, your what could be, or actually let me flip it round. If on the what, it's social media content, for example, that's quite broad. We do social media content. And then over here, it could be for gym wear manufacturers, gym wear wholesalers, gym wear distributors, for example. That's specific, that's more broad. If one of them is broad, make sure the other one's specific, because that's how you get a nice, juicy, compact, and specific value proposition. But like I said, in the next video, you're going to get lots of templates. Before we finish, just quickly, why do you need a value proposition? Why is it important? Well, actually, I can answer that question in one word, and that word is this: clarity. Value proposition will give you clarity. So it will give you clarity in your own mind of who you're serving, who you should go after. You'll be able to know when you have a good value proposition, you'll be able to know in a second when you're presented with an opportunity whether it's one you should go for 100% or whether it's one you should step back and leave. Right? Clarity for you. it's also clarity for your potential customers. When you can give them a value proposition which is really succinct, really clear, really crisp, really specific, then they can know immediately if you are the right person for them. I remember when we were in, my wife and I, we were in Delhi, and it was just in the Christmas past, and we were actually in Delhi spice market. And if you go to a spice market anywhere in the world, you'll know there are spices absolutely everywhere. And if you don't know what you're looking for, if you don't know the exact spice you are looking for, then you can tend to be a little bit lost. And that's exactly how we felt. But at one point, we got taken into the back of one of these spice stalls. And these guys, they were very nice guys, looked after us. And we started talking about the type of spices we wanted. One of the things we wanted was a veg biryani spice, something we really wanted. And when we said this to the guy, he said, don't worry about all this. He went to the back, brought out a pack, which was exactly that. It was a combination of spices called the veg biryani spice mix. And he explained to us what was in it, explained to us exactly how it was going to help us. And of course, that made it so easy for us to buy that spice mix. This is exactly what a value proposition can do for you. It can make you a go-to spice for your specific target customer. When your target customer is in the spice market, lost, not knowing how to fix their problem and who to look for, you come along as their go-to spice. That's how I put it. A value proposition can be your can turn you into a go-to spice. So to recap, you can either be something to someone, that's the go-to spice, or you can be nothing to everyone. That's the assorted spice all over the place that no one knows what it's for and how to buy it. You can be something to someone or nothing to everyone. To find your value proposition, you kind of want to look at two things. Who are you serving and what problem are you solving? And that piece in the middle, that's your value proposition. And why do you need it? Well, it's all about clarity. Clarity for you to understand who you serve, clarity for your customers to understand that you are their go-to spice. I hope you found that helpful. If you did, please subscribe and like and all that cool stuff. And I'll be back next week, or later this week actually, with 4 value proposition templates which you can pick up and plug your business into, so you've got a ready to go value proposition in seconds. Hope you enjoyed that. See you later.